Hello, it's day 5 of our Mirror Meditation Challenge, and today we're going to be working with how we focus our attention. There are different ways in which we can focus our attention, and oftentimes we just see our attention, we don't think of it that way. We think about our attention being pulled in all these different directions rather than being aware of the fact that we can take charge of where our attention goes. So there are basically 3 different orientations that we can have in terms of our attention. One is internal, in which we're focusing on body sensations, how we're feeling in any given moment, our emotions, things like that. We can also be externally focused, where we're focusing on our environment. We might be looking for threats in the environment, different types of social cues that are happening in the environment that we're in. And the third focal point is what's called a third-person perspective, or a self-objectifying perspective. And this perspective is when we imagine how other people are seeing us. And this is often the perspective we have habitually when we look in the mirror. We're looking in the mirror to see what we look like to other people. And we're kind of adjusting ourselves to make sure we look a certain way for other people. What can sometimes happen is we can get kind of stuck in that third-person perspective. So we're walking around imagining how other people are seeing us. It's a state of self-consciousness, and it can be a state of self-consciousness that's really uncomfortable. It can also lead to social anxiety, because when you're focused on yourself and you're focused on how other people are seeing you, you tend to not be able to be in the present moment with other people. And it tends to make you feel more anxious, more out of control. And so the thing to always remember to do when you're in a situation where you're feeling very self-conscious is to focus your attention outward. Think about how other people are feeling and try to become interested in them, and maybe even putting them at ease instead of trying to get them to do things that make you feel comfortable, or looking for cues in them that they're approving of you or that everything's going well. Simply shift your focus so that you're focused on them and not how you're feeling in the moment. So when you look in the mirror, you can try these 3 different perspectives. You can bring your attention inward to focus on your body sensations. You can bring your attention outward to look at what you're seeing in the mirror, and then you can take that third-person perspective and just play around with those 3 different ways of focusing your attention. And when you spend some time actually intentionally focusing your attention, you'll find it easier than when you're in situations where you develop a sense of self-awareness, or too much self-awareness, too much self-consciousness in a moment. You'll be better able to shift your attention outward. It might also be an interesting exercise when you're in that third-person perspective. Who do you typically imagine is watching you? You're in the mirror, you want to look a certain way. Who do you think is watching you? And that might be a very interesting exercise to do. And I'd love to hear more about your experiences in the comments.